The concept of Mitteleuropa is closely related to German nation building and identity construction. Since the beginning of the 19th century, German unification had been a major topic in intellectual and political debates. In those debates, Mitteleuropa was a central as well as a contested concept. Economic cooperation comprised the fundamental element of these plans. The First World War provided new impetus to ideas about Central Europe. The study, compiled by the German imperial government on 9 September 1914, that is the September Program, contained a catalogue of war aims. Among the goals outlined by the Chancellor Theobald von Bethmann-Hollweg were the weakening of France, pushing back of Russia to the east, and creation of a Central European Economic Association. While its members would have been ostensibly equal, in reality the alliance would function under German leadership and stabilize Germany's economic and political dominance over Europe. In the literature, Friedrich List is considered the father of the Mitteleuropa idea, the first systematic developer of the integration of Central and Eastern Europe under the leadership of the Germans. He mainly expressed his views from an economic perspective. A tendentious direction can be observed in his works. First, he aimed to create German national building. Let's look at the map. After this, other states, such as Belgium, the Netherlands, and Switzerland, would have joined the German unity. This unit would continue to grow towards the lower course of the Danube. Danube is the middle point in these plains. Although List first saw the need to establish European unity vis-à-vis Great Britain, he eventually planned to create an alliance with Great Britain as well. He saw the development of transport, railway, and water routes as necessary for the creation of state and economic unity. In his works, he called for the creation of an economic unit in which agriculture, industry, and trade form a part. The establishment of German unity in the 1815 did not entail the unification of economic conditions. Internal tariffs levied by individual provinces made internal trade difficult and expensive and hindered industrialization. This considered the construction of the railway network and the creation of the customs union as Siamese twins in the modernization of Germany. The German customs union was established in 1834. List once again advocated the development of the German railway network. At this time, the debate between the supporters of free trade and protectory tariffs intensified. This was the first to arise interest in the development of railways. In the spring of 1841, List published several articles on the national trade system of England, Holland, and Germany. In these writings, he provided historical evidence that the prosperity in decline of the economy is related to its protection and lack of protection. Following the publication of these articles, his work, Das nationale System der politischen Ökonomie, the national system of political economy, was published in May 1841. In this work, List expressed his views in defense of political unity and national economy and against the teaching of Adam Smith Cole. According to him, free trade only works between nations of equal development. According to this, the main goal of national politics is the unification of nations under the rule of law and order. However, this can only be achieved slowly. States must form various alliances with each other. Therefore, a continental alliance is needed against England's preponderance. In List 8043 article, Österreich und der Zollverein, Austria and the Customs Union, he provides a detailed explanation of the benefits for Germany and Austria if the latter joined the German Customs Union. The connecting link would be the Danube, the region of which is mostly owned by Austria, and through which Germany could reach the mouth of Danube in the Black Sea. List wrote the following. The Danube, once it has been regulated, is the best route for land transport, both between Hungary and the other provinces, and between the Austrian monarchy and the western and eastern parts of Europe. The plan for Germany's alliance with England was further developed by Liszt in his work Über den Wert on the value and conditions of an alliance between Germany and Great Britain. In this article, he details that England can only compete with North America's vast territories and economic power by increasing its own territories in Africa and Asia. However, for this, England needs an alliance with Germany. The prerequisite for this alliance is renewal of Germany. This so that is renewal could be achieved by reducing the bureaucracy. Liszt advocated his plans not only in the press. He developed contacts at the highest political level to secure support for his suggestion for the agrarian and industrial expansion of Hungary and for the future Austro-German domination of the Balkans. He explained his ideas to Metternich, for example. Shortly before his death, he also traveled to London in order to implement the Anglo-German alliance. However, without any political authority, this plan was doomed from the start. Liszt returned from England disappointed and without any results. After his health failed, Liszt left for Italy. On the way there, he arrived in Kufstein on 26 November 1846. His financial problems, depression, boredom, and constant headache drove him to commit suicide. His body was found on a hill in Kufstein on 3 December with a pistol in his hand. He was buried in the city cemetery. The other thinker of Mitteleuropa idea was Friedrich Naumann. Naumann elaborated his plan for Central Europe in his main work Mitteleuropa, published in November 1915. The states that did not belong to either the Anglo-French alliance or the Russian Empire were the subject of Naumann's investigation. The first step would be the unification of Germany and Austria-Hungary. Also here can we see Austria-Hungary. As further Eastern European plans would depend on this. According to Naumann, Central Europe is the area that extends from the North and East Seas to the Alps, Adriatic Sea, and southern part of the Danube Plain. Danube is in middle point. This area could function as a defense alliance and economic unit from which all particularities must be eliminated. The formation of Mitteleuropa requires not only territorial unity, but also the creation of Central European spirit. Since the small states themselves are no longer good for anything, they must remain in an alliance even after the war, which also gives a meaning to the struggles of the war. Without this, it is not possible to join the ranks of the first-class world economic powers. During the discussion of constitutional issues, Naumann states that Central Europe will be the creation of the will of the people, though the idea of its implementation must be spread. It would be a new state, but an alliance of existing states, the core of which would be the alliance between Germany and Austria-Hungary. It would be a confederation and not a federal state. When the confederation is established, it is necessary to determine the matters that would not fall under the jurisdiction of the central state, Oberstaat. These matters include church matter, education, questions of language use, internal public administration, local administration, the constitution in the narrow sense. Already existing international treaties can serve as models for the treaties establishing Central Europe. Naumann imagined that the states would conclude treaties with each other to manage common affairs. They may be divided into two principal groups. Treaties which are carried out by each state through its own officials in its own way and without joint control, and treaties which, owing to their nature, require a mixed and joint commission to carry them out. The latter group thus paves the way for joint administration in limited sphere. This is similar to European unit today. In addition to the economic alliance, Naumann also urged for the creation of military alliance. In later writing, Naumann confirms that all war aims only make sense if Mitteleuropa is created. The Balkan Peninsula belongs to Central Europe, and therefore Bulgaria must also join the alliance. According to Naumann, if Bulgaria does not win and Turkey's position in Asia not maintained, Central Europe will be defeated. The Hungarians could act as intermediaries between Bulgaria and the Central Powers. He further intended independent kingdom of Poland to also the part of Mitteleuropa. However, the accession of the Poles must be supported by both Austria and Prussia. On Christmas 1918, Naumann's last article about Mitteleuropa was published in the weekly newspaper Mitteleuropa, with which the newspaper ceased operations. In it, he admitted that with the great collapse, the idea of Mitteleuropa would also disappear. That neither Germany nor the peoples and states of the old Austria-Hungary would be able to conclude treaties. According to Naumann, the realization of the Mitteleuropa plan would have created a friendly alliance across country and language borders. Whether or not this idea is lost depends on whether the concept of Mitteleuropa was an arbitrary idea or a necessary one. According to Naumann, however, one should work instead of despairing. This applies not only to the Imperial Germans, but also the Austro-Germans. Naumann wrote, "We must not let the flames of our life be extinguished." He believed that the supporters of Mitteleuropa would find each other in the National Assembly and other occasions. Signing off with Auf Wiedersehen, the great thinker said his goodbye. And now I would like to say many thanks to the author of the AR book for cooperation, work, efforts. Thank you very much. I am today the last speaker. I say also auf Wiedersehen and goodbye.